we've all heard the expression content is king, and that's very true today. Content marketing is key. So why do we use content marketing? So content marketing refers to copy that you create to educate and inform your target market about your services. It's not, the goal is to get the reader on the phone with you. It's not to sell them something. So when you're putting out content marketing, you're putting out stuff that's educational, that you're providing value. Okay. When you do that, content generates more than 3 times as many leads as outbound marketing. So if you've got the right message and you're hitting the right target, then it will drive your conversion. The Content Marketing Institute has said it drives conversions at 6 times the rate of traditional marketing. For businesses that blog, have 126% more lead growth than businesses that don't. So I'm just going to go through some best practices for you to follow when you're doing content writing and editing. The first thing you need to know is, who is your audience? Who's your avatar? Because you really have to think about who you want to read your content, right? And you have to target your audience and create content with them in mind. And I'm going to show you another slide, a couple slides down, and you'll get a real clearer picture of how to write for a particular audience. So the best way to do that is we develop buyer personas. So everyone who has their business has multiple markets. So, you could be going like Avil, you could be going after, coaches, because they traditionally do a lot of reading. You could be going after, graduate students, because they need to do a lot of reading. So, but you would market to them completely differently because their needs are different and they're 2 different markets. So you want to begin with, what is the problem that they're suffering from, and show how you're the expert. So things that start with, don't you hate how, fill in the blank, okay? So do we, and that's why we created blank program to solve this very problem. So here's what we've talked about when we say buyer personas. And it's very interesting to look at because the customer journey goes through awareness, consideration, and decision. So regardless, the customer, that is the customer journey stages. That's what they all go through. So in this case, it was a company that sold solar panels. So they had 2 different personas. They have the homeowner who's motivated by cost savings, and then you have the homeowner that's motivated by going green. So you can imagine that the content you would put out would be very different. So the things that you would put out in the awareness stage for someone who's looking to save money are things like 4 things you didn't know that are raising your utility bill, or how to read your utility bill correctly. Whereas if someone was motivated by going green, they're more interested in things like, 10 ways to make your house more green, how to reduce your carbon footprint. So you can see that you're selling the same product, but the content that you're putting out is very different, because someone who's interested in going green is not necessarily going to be interested in things that you put out that talk about cost savings, because that's not what they're motivated by. So when they're in the consideration stage, you can do videos or blog posts. And for the cost savings would be things like how to properly seal your windows. Whereas if you're writing to someone who's going green, it would be how to replace your aging air conditioner. And in the decision stage, so here you could put out a block, Solarific versus Solartastic, installation and price differences. They're competitors. So that's what we did, is we looked at the differences between them. But again, it wasn't a sales piece. We just looked at, and went through what are the differences between them. And an ebook would be why purchasing solar panels saves more money than leasing. Whereas to the going green, the blog post would be 20 questions to ask your solar contractor, because we know that they're going to go green. We know that they're going to put in windows. So these would be the kinds of information that they need. And they need information to the most environmentally friendly solar installers in Southern California, for example, because this company was in California. So everybody has different buyer markets. And so you need to develop personas or avatars for each one of your markets and ask yourself, what's keeping them up at night? That will help you know what kind of content you need to be generating, because you need to be solving a problem. So what is the problem that you solve? So what keeps them up at night? And why have you created a program to solve that problem? Spelling, punctuation, grammar. Okay, people don't pay enough attention to this. There's Grammarly, which is free, so there's absolutely no reason for people not to have correct spelling and punctuation. Sloppy content portrays you as careless. And I know where I've gone to, I do some copywriting for web designers, and I went to this one web designer. I went to his website. His website was horrible, but aside from that, there were all sorts of typos and errors. And it's like, for crying out loud, this is what you do as a business. You'd think you'd get it right for yourself, So needless to say, I never hired them. So you're laying the foundation for a relationship. So the better the grammar, the clearer the message. And if you don't trust your command of grammar and punctuation, you can either hire an editor to write and review your content, or you can just use something like Grammarly. And Grammarly is brilliant because not only does it make corrections, it will give you recommendations for restructuring sentences. So I happen to really like it. Now, I did upgrade to the paid version to let you know. So I have all these other tools that are available, but the free version is great. So you really, unless you're doing it professionally, you don't really need to buy the paid version. So when you're putting out content, you have to include verifiable statistics from trustworthy sources that support the point you're trying to make. So I have to make a point in here about ChatGPT, because that's the big thing now. ChatGPT, one of the problems with ChatGPT in particular is that it does not give you the sources. So it will give you all these statistics and tell you that 79% of the population prefers the color blue over red, but it won't tell you where it got that information. That's why I have switched, and I now work with copy.ai. So I have ChatGPT because I like it for helping me come out with article topics or outlines where I don't need any kind of sourcing. When I write blogs for clients and I'm writing and I'm giving statistics, I need to know where those sources come from. And you need to sort the primary source, which is the originators. So don't quote someone who's quoting the primary source. You have to go directly to the primary source. Okay. Don't use Wikipedia, or don't rely on it, because again, it's secondary information that is collected. So you have no idea of knowing what kind of accuracy it is. Because again, it's like, it scours the web and then it puts up that information. Also things like ask.com, and directories like Reddit and Quora, you can't take copy from there either, but you can use them to come up with ideas. So a lot of the information and the links are user generated, so they're not verified. So there's still, these are the types of places where you can get excellent content ideas, and it will lead you to other credible sources. Use links. Okay. Links make a big difference. So links are a signal to Google that your content is reputable and relevant. So if you link to external websites, which are called off-page links, you want to make sure you're linking to reputable and relevant sources. Okay. When you use external links, you want to make sure that that link opens up a separate window or tab. Because otherwise, if it doesn't, it navigates them away from your content and then they can't get back. So pushing the back button is not going to get them back to your content. So links always have to open in a new window or in a new tab, so you don't send users away from your site. And you can put links in the body of the post. If you put internal links as well, so you can use what we call off-page links, which are internal links to your own website. So you may say, to learn more, we provide this service. To learn more about us, click here, and it takes them to a page on your website. Okay, so sentences. Okay, long form content in search results. Long form content does better in search results it earns more backlinks, and it often gets more shares on social. So when you're writing, you want long form content, and long form content is what we consider about 2,000 words. However, you want to write short sentences. So Backlinko studied the correlation between the word counts and the Google ranking, and they found that the average number of words for the #1 results in Google ranking is 1890, whereas HubSpot found that it was 2,500. So long form content gets more shares, but you don't want to paralyze yourself by getting hung up on the word count. So for blog posts, I usually do between 800 and 1,000 words for a blog post. And then longer form content would be things that would be 1,500 to 2,500 or even longer. So you have to move this. So you also need to mind your formatting, because formatting is going to help people get through your content and direct them to make sure that they go where you want them to go. So break it up. People are more apt to skim content than consume every word on the page, as Avril well knows. And use subheadings and bullets. You want to take the text and make it into little chunks so that people can read little chunks at a time. They can read, they can read the first sentence and then decide if they want to read the rest of the paragraph, or if they want to skip over it. Visuals, really important, as I'm going to show you in a minute. Images get more, posts that have images get more shares and links. And you always want to make sure you finish with a call to action. And that's what people forget, is that even though you're putting up content that is adding value and it's not sales content, you still need to let people know at the end, okay, now that you read this, what do you want me to do? So do you want me to subscribe to a newsletter? Do you want me to donate? Do you want me to make an appointment with you? Do you want me to download your book? So make sure that you're very specific at the end of the content and tell the reader exactly what you want them to do, and make sure you provide a link so that they don't have to go searching for it. So these are different types of calls to action. So, and this is from HubSpot. So you can ask people to sign up so they can be invited for a free trial, an online course, an event. They can subscribe, which people like because it's not committing them to purchase anything. So they'll just receive updates from you. And these are common for company blogs when the business wants to develop a relationship with their clients. Try for free. This always works because people get to try it out. It works best when people are more willing to do it when they could get the free trial without having to put in their credit card. Right. Most of the time, try for free, but you have to put in your credit card. And then if you don't cancel within, 27 hours, they bill you for the whole year, all that kind of stuff. So try for free is a really good one. It could even be something as simple as, get started or learn more or join us. So, you can drive behaviors for a company. So you can have them, anything from a free trial of something to a virtual reality experience. Sometimes all you want to do is give your potential customers a little bit more information so that they would be prepared to buy something when they have a conversation with you. So learn more would give them more information on your programs. And something like Join Us is great if you're managing some kind of a community. So this is the outline for the perfect blog post. So title 1 is your header. Google searches the first 75 words and the first 75 characters for SEO purposes. So you want to make sure that the SEO words that you're using are in the title and that they're also somewhere within the first 75 words. So, you want to put them throughout the whole content, but Google searches the first 75 words. So make sure that your SEO words are in that. Then you want to put together an introduction. So you're going to say, in this blog post, we're going to discuss why you don't have to read a whole book to be able to understand it. And then you'd have another headline. So here are some tips for reading that book. And then you would put in your tips and your tricks. And then you might have another sub headline. And you can have, here are a bunch of suggestions that you can do now. And so you've got them in bullet points. And then at the end, you have your call to action. So this is the exact model that is used for every single blog post. So it's, and you'll have the deck, so you'll be able to check back to anything. Leverage keywords. So this is what I was just talking about, is that keywords are the words and phrases that people put into search engines to find you. So you want to make sure that your target keywords are in the headline, in the body, and in the content. So it should feel natural. But you also want to work in, you could work in the natural synonym. So if your main keyword, oh, okay. Oh, I'll just admit it. So if you can go to your main keyword, you know, if you put in something like best new ovens, then, hey, Randy. Hey, Randy. Okay, he can't hear me yet. So naturally, you want to work in the synonyms. So if you're looking for stoves, you can put in the words ovens. You know, I writing, for example, for this childcare. So I use words like early child care. I use, you know, kids education. I use the word childhood education. So I'm trying to keep and using the same words in the same sort of families, because when you search one, the other ones will come up as well. So what I do a lot of times is I look through a thesaurus and I put my words in a thesaurus in Word and see what it generates. Okay, why is this not? There we go. So here you can see how, like, an image, you know, they say, you know, images speak 1,000 words. Well, visual content performs 4.4 times better than content that is just text-based. So you can see the difference of putting food, or you look at the plate resonates with people emotionally, which you really want, because people buy emotionally. They think they buy intellectually, they process information intellectually, but at the end of the day, when they buy, it's an emotional decision. And so pictures and images that, you know, that tug at their heartstrings are going to be very helpful and will help you to convert your content. Compelling headline. So what does that mean, a compelling headline? So it grabs the reader's attention. Okay. Popular ones that you always see are things like the 5 things to know. Okay, the 10 things to know, the 8 things to know, the 5 most important things. But when you know, using a list like the 5 things, the 7 things, the 10 things, you know, those are the ones that tend to get better traction. Your headline has to be searchable. So you have to make sure that your headline has the keywords that someone is going to type into a search engine in order to find you. And it has to be clickable, which means it has to be compelling and interesting and make people want to engage with it. So make sure that the keywords appear in the first, you know, 60 to 75 words, again, because that's all that Google crawls initially when they go to see if your information is relevant. So remember, the whole point of content marketing is not to be promotional. It's not a promotional. You're educating your market as to why they need your service, but you're not selling the service. You know, you can sell the service in the call to action at the end, but that's not the purpose of the article. So you want to avoid adding a ton of branded references in your, you know, in your content. It's okay to mention your company name where it's natural or where it's relevant, but remember, you're not going for the hard sell. So the goal of your blog content should always be to help readers find what they need and solve their problems. So put the audience first. The purpose of content is to provide value to the user and not to sell them. So this is a, oops, where'd it go? Hey, what happened? Okay, what do you see now? Do you see the content checklist?
Yes.
Okay, cool, thanks.
So and it's not on reading, it's on, you know, the main view. So in other words, it's not, you know, you see what's on your left also.
Oh, that's okay. I don't mind if you see that there's
Okay.
only one left, so I don't mind that, but I just wanted to make sure, because somehow on my screen it just all disappeared. So this is a content checklist for editors. It goes through all of the things that I've been talking about, which is, you know, all these questions about your copy, your structure, your format, your headline, your keywords, your links. So this really is a great checklist to use if you're writing new content. And so that is the end. If anybody needs help with content writing or marketing services, that certainly would love to speak to you, because that's what we do. So Randy, you missed.
I know, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. What I'm going to say, if you want, I'm happy to have a one-on-one with you and go through it with you.
That's fine, whenever you want, that'd be
Yeah.
fine, thank you.
Yeah, no, because I feel bad because you missed it. So, but I'm happy to present it to you one-on-one. So. no
Thank
problem.
you,
Yeah, no
thank you.
So, I don't know if anybody has questions. Do you have any questions, Alan? No. Melissa?
No, I don't have any questions. I do need to hop because I've got to get to my next thing, but thank you very much.
Oh, it was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks.
Okay, bye. Okay, so,
Lori, so how long, so in
I
other words, I
always
missed
love-
20 minutes, 25 minutes, right?
You know,
yeah. The presentation is really only 20 some odd minutes.
So do you want to do it now, or you're busy?
No, I can do it now. We can let everybody else off the hook and
Okay.
just stay on and I'll help you with it. Yeah, with pleasure.
Right.